And I don't know where we like cut out. I feel like it cut out like in the middle of me like.
Well, let's do it all over again. The movie you're making me watch today is City of God. Cidade de Deus. I said that better the second time. A solid 2 hours and 10 minutes. Thanks, Jake. What's your one word?
My one word is beautiful.
Schwartz?
Schwartz, you got a word?
I'm gonna say brutal.
It's brutal.
And I
Brutal.
say
All right.
chaotic. It's a chaotic, brutal, beautiful movie.
Yeah. I think all of those words describe this movie pretty well. Definitely beautiful, definitely brutal, definitely chaotic.
And would you like to
tell
us
us? It was a
what
fucking
it's
good
about?
movie, man.
What's the movie about, Jake?
I would love to tell you what it's all about. It's about this town or city or pretty much what is referred to as a slum outside of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. It's pretty much
Favela.
like crime ran, like or favela. Yes, if you're going proper Brazilian nomenclature. Beautiful Portuguese was spoken throughout this film. But yeah, it's about this town more or less. It's about these kids, if you want to look at it like that. But it's more about like the city and like what happens in the city, and it's told through the perspective of this one character named Rocket. But really, he's telling the story of many different characters, and through different perspectives, this movie is really presented. And I think it was a really well told story, and stories really, because it went from when this guy was like a kid to when he was probably like a young adult, probably around 18 years old, like right around like entering college or in college. And yeah, it more or less jumps from his childhood to that period, and shows early on the stories of his brother and this gang his brother runs with. They're referred to as hoods, or pretty much we would think hoodlums or whatever. But it's a lot of different great characters in it.
I just want to do hood rat shit with my hood rat friends.
Exactly. These kids were the kings of hood rats. This was like, that's all they really knew. I mean, it was like a sad situation and like a sad place, because like I said, it was the slums. Like it was just ran by crime. Like early on, like one of the first scenes was like these kids like holding up a gas truck and just stealing their money and like giving out gas to the people in the town. The people in the town didn't give a shit because that's what they need. They couldn't afford gas, so they just took it because the kids are fucking robbing them anyway. So they just did it. It's a crazy story. I mean,
Yeah.
it really focused on at different times different characters, and like early on it was this trio of characters, and it started with that. It was Rocket's brother was in one of them, and Rocket like kind of was an aspiring photographer as a kid. Kind of was always afraid of the gangs, never really wanted to be part of the gangs. He said he was afraid of getting shot, which I thought was kind of a funny reasoning why he didn't do any like hood rat shit, as we would
Who's
call it.
not afraid of getting shot? Maybe Schwartz.
These fucking kids didn't seem to be like, all these kids were fucking running around with guns. Like the movie opened with like all these kids just running around with guns chasing a chicken down the street, which ended up being a pretty pivotal scene at the end of the movie. But like how it opened was pretty funny. How he's just like, get that fucking chicken, and these kids are like running down like a mob of like 20 kids, all running around with guns. Yeah, the opening like scene with like the way that was like shot, it was very fast. They were sharpening blades and shit. They were showing like this chicken's getting like murdered and cooked up and everything like that. Like it was just a wild opening. Like it really like just threw you into that place.
Yeah, that opening scene really does grab you, and that's, I mean, it sucks you in, and then once you start seeing the fact that it doesn't stop, it just keeps going and going, and each character you meet is a little bit more interesting than the next. I thought that was pretty awesome of an opening. The first like 20-30 minutes of this movie, you're pretty much just glued to the screen because you're just like, damn, this is more. There's more. Like
there's more,
cool.
but it
Story
takes
of
you.
Little Z.
It just goes you deeper and deeper into the. It tells you the story, and then it goes like in reverse and tells you another layer of that story, and then it goes back and then tells you another layer of that story.
Right.
That was pretty rad.
Yeah,
it jumps different perspectives throughout the scene at some point.
Yeah, like
no, that's
how you
like
mentioned
Jake said,
Little
like,
Z.
it really is a movie about the city and just the people
Mhm.
who live in it. That's what the movie's about.
I like how like you mentioned Little Z a minute ago, or like early he was referred to as Little Dice as a kid.
Right.
How like how his story was told in a really like crazy way because he was clearly just this fucked up little kid from the start. And like I liked how they showed his like first. I don't know if that was his first crime shit he got into, but like when he was helping those that trio like rob the motel, and first they just showed the guys robbing the motel, and he was on the lookout. And they told him to shoot a window or something like that if cops were on their way.
Mm-hmm.
So once they started hearing, they heard a shot, they took off. And then we didn't know this till later, but later they revealed the fact that Little Z went in there and like killed all these people that were like tied up and like just got robbed, and he like laughed at it as a little kid.
Yeah.
But I actually noticed like they had a really good casting with that too. Like the little kid and the older version of him both had this like fucked up like teeth and like this fucked up smile. It was like very similar. So I was pretty impressed by them being able to do that. Like
the
they
youngest
looked,
version
like
of
the
him
kid
was the
looked
most
like,
terrifying.
Yeah, this little psychopath kid.
So
and he was actually the same kid that killed the main character's brother. That's
Yeah.
probably an important note to be said.
fun fact, everybody in the movie, besides for the guy who played Carrot, was not a real actor. They were people they found that they decided to tell them about the script, and then they did like 2 weeks of like rehearsal with them in the situations, and they were real people, and they just performed it all, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, they were all really good. Like everyone was very impressive in the roles.
This is actually one of the few movies to where you can say that when that's a situation where they did that it turned out like beautifully, perfectly, because this is honestly, I saw it once before, maybe twice before back in the day when it first came out. And so all those things like the flashbacks and stuff, as I was watching this, I was like, man, wait, he's the guy who did this or he's the guy who did that. And then I realized, oh shit, that's why they didn't show it. They were showing it in a different way. I remembered it, but I didn't remember that they didn't show it in a linear fashion. They showed it like throughout. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I knew that Lil Z was the guy who killed the brother. And I was like, how come they didn't show that? They didn't continue with the scene. And then I was like, oh, because they're doing it that way, which is super interesting. Because when you watch it for the first time, it's like, fuck, that's fucking dope.
They could have made a whole movie out of the apartment scene there.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that scene.
That's my favorite scene. That scene's my favorite in the movie, and because it's just so well done. Like this movie's this is probably one of the top 100 movies I've ever watched for sure. Like this is in the category of that. It's just great storytelling. It's something I've never seen before. If I didn't see this movie, I would have never experienced or even thought about what these people are going through in life. You know what I mean? Because I've never been to a small town outside of Brazil, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's hard to like really relate to these characters. At least
it's just interesting.
Where we're from, at least. Like,
I mean, you can relate the crime aspect of it because you know people who do crime, and you know
sure,
the crime.
Sure.
It's just the location is a pretty great backdrop. Like the whole city is pretty awesome looking. The people are interesting looking. Like it's just a great backdrop.
I got to go to a favela in
like just
Rio,
the town.
And I got to just walk around and take pictures.
Did you know
following the crew? It was crazy.
That's cool.
Did you notice Sue George is in this?
Who?
Sue George, the guy that Anthony kissed in Brazil.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, he was knocking around that. We were talking.
Be honest, Anthony's kissed a lot of dudes in Brazil, so we got to figure out which guy you met.
That's probably
no, I remember we talked about this at when we watched we talked about this when we watched the Royal Tenenbaums, because we got on the topic of Sue George, how he made the music for Steve Zissou, and I didn't realize he was in this movie, like he was the Knockaround Ned character.
Oh, that's who it was.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't notice that till the credits either.
Seeing that character's arc.
Knockout Ned,
Knockout Ned. That guy's character arc was amazing. How he was the bus driver, and then he went to becoming the guy who fucking challenged Lil Z.
That was the coolest
guy
part of the bus.
100%.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Oh,
because I noticed them mentioning on the bus like, I'll tell his story later or something, like because they were gonna rob him and shit, but like that guy's too cool.
Yeah.
He's the guy who fucking Lil Z made strip with the girl, and then he fucking came after him.
Yeah,
strip at Benny's party, and Benny, dude, Benny got killed.
That was Knockout Ned. I thought that was a different guy. I didn't realize that was the same guy.
Oh, was it?
That's
why Knockout Ned did it.
No,
No, Knockout Ned did that shit because he
because he
fucking killed
raped
his
his girl.
fucking. Yeah, he
Oh
took his
yeah,
girl and then killed his little brother.
I forgot.
After the brother came outside and confronted the gang, and they just fucking
And
shot
shot
him
up
up.
his house and killed
Yeah.
his uncle too. His uncle got killed.
Yeah, that was a fucking brutal movie, man. But
It really was.
it was so interesting. It was never boring. Like it was constantly. I was just like, holy shit. Like, and I noticed myself. Like usually with movies with subtitles, I'll have to like go back a few times because I like definitely miss something. But I not one time while I watched this was I not paying attention. Like I don't even think I like did anything else but watch this movie the full way through because it was just so interesting.
Yeah, there was a couple times I rewound just to read the subtitles because I was distracted by the frame because everything was so like the way it was shot was really fucking cool. It was very like very authentic feeling, like almost like doc style in a way. It's just
Looks
the way
like
it was
a
like
doc.
cold.
It looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they made that
Yeah.
movie. Like it looks like, I mean, obviously it was made in
Yeah,
Brazil.
totally.
It looks like I don't know. Looks like those kids made it. Looks like yeah, like you said, almost a documentary style.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How much? What was the budget on that
It
movie?
was
I'm
one of the
sure
first
it was-
foreign films.
What to say?
Well, it
I mean,
probably
Fernando.
It probably wasn't that high, but I know it got nominated for like 4 or 5 Oscars, and I was about to say that's one of the
Yeah.
first times that a foreign language film has been nominated for like a bunch of Oscars.
He was
Got nominated for
best,
best director too.
yeah,
Best
best
cinematography.
director, screenplay, all that stuff.
Yeah.
budget.
I mean, I think
3 million
Fernando Meirelles was the
Brazilian? I don't know
director.
what that
So
was.
Yeah, that's probably not a lot. But it made like $30 million. Like it made profit of like 30 million.
I remember seeing it in theaters when it came out because I saw that it was nominated for a bunch of Oscars, and that was like kind of right when I was getting into movies and like artsy films and shit. So I definitely went to go see it.
Yeah, I was told to watch this movie. Like when people were like, "Oh, you're into movies," or like, "You gotta watch City of God." Like that's what someone said to me. That's why I watched it.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen it since then because I couldn't really remember the movie well, and like I was the whole time I was watching it this morning, and I was like, I was in it the whole time. Had my attention.
This is probably the third time I've seen it, but that third time is probably the last time was probably like at least like 8 years ago. Like I said, I was piecing it together. Like I would see one thing and I'd be like, "Oh, but wait, but that guy kills that guy. Why is he not?" And then I was like, "Oh, they're not." Like once I saw just what was going on, I was like, "Damn, I forgot about that." That's why.
They're Tarantino-esque in those ways, like how the characters like were all like still like existed in the environments around with everybody else, but like certain stories were told that focused on certain characters, and they were just. But then you could see the other side story happening simultaneously, but it wasn't as like focused on. You would pick up on that later, but they would show that later, which I just loved how
the apartment scene was the best
it unfolded like
version
that.
of that.
Really cool. Yeah, totally. And that was just told over time. That was a really good one.
The scene that really fucked with me the most was the scene when they kill the runt, when they make him shoot the fucking kid, the little kid.
Yeah,
that was pretty
that was
fucked
fucked
up.
up.
That was brutal.
That was my favorite scene.
Just that one kid just crying like that, just constantly crying, and then he just shoots the other one.
Yeah, dude, I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, this is great. I love this movie." I watched that scene 4 times.
Hand or foot.
I just kept rewinding it.
Yeah, and
Was your
then
favorite
what's great
scene?
about that scene is like the next shot they cut is a skinny street dog eating scraps on the ground. Which I thought was pretty awesome.
The
If
sound.
you weren't sad enough,
dude,
here's
was
a
pretty
shot of
fucked.
a fucking dead dog.
Yeah. Another scene I really liked is when Rocket and his boy try to dabble in crime and they can't because everyone's too cool to them and they decide they can't.
That's my favorite
Yeah,
scene.
that sequence was definitely funny.
That was hilarious.
That was pretty great.
He goes in and he talks to Handsome George or whatever his name is. Then he goes out and he tries to hold up the store and the girl's there and she was too foxy.
Too foxy.
Yeah.
What happened to the taxi driver? Did they end up robbing the taxi driver? I don't remember.
Oh, he had weed, so he just smoked him out and took him home.
Yeah.
But then he burnt the girl's number. He wrote the girl's number down. He was I was good at talking to people, but I wasn't. He was good at something. Yeah, he said something about being good at something, but he wasn't good with girls still.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like he was good with people,
Rocket.
but he couldn't lose his virginity or something. I know that was a thing.
Yeah. What's crazy is he lost it to the journalist. Like that's pretty badass.
Yeah, she just brought him home, railed him, bought his pictures.
Yeah,
he was like a straight.
He was
just a straight dog
like,
to her.
I fucking love you. I fucking love you. That's what I would have said. I'm like, I fucking love you.
It was
What
shot
we call
pretty
too,
crazy.
the scene that was pretty fucked up too is Benny's Benny's fucking death scene, man. Benny's death scene. The way they shot that in the fucking club with the lights, and then fucking what was the dude's name who shot him? Blackie, or something like that.
Yeah,
Blackie?
that was the drug dealer.
I was like, who is this guy? And then I noticed he had the blood on his face. I was like, oh, it's fucking Blackie, that motherfucker.
I didn't realize what happened
he was
until
trying to shoot
Blackie
fucking
said what he did.
Yeah, I shot up, and then like just that like the reveal where fucking was it Carrot just like you killed the coolest guy, and then fucking just murdered him right there because he knew, like they said in the movie, like
Carrot's
if it wasn't Benny, like he'd be dead. And then it was sad to see Benny go. Benny was the cool guy, but even though he kind of stole Rocket's girl a little bit.
See when he comes in and he's like, I'm a playboy now, and then he just starts shooting. That was pretty awesome too.
That was funny.
Bleached his hair.
Those two guys looked like fucking
Tuba,
LMFAO.
When he killed Tuba, that was pretty funny. When they were just walking and Tuba, I'm pretty sure it was the guy that he called Tuba. He was like, he just kept asking him, what happened? He killed somebody, or I can't remember what happened, but he was like, oh man, you killed that guy. That was pretty awesome, man. We gotta do that more often. This is great. And he turns around, he's like, shut the fuck up, and just shoots him.
Yeah, you talk too much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that another crazy fucked up part,
Yeah. Lil Z's fucking nuts, man. That guy was cold-blooded the whole way through.
Cold-blooded. When he was a kid, he was scariest.
Yeah. Like that was his solution, just fucking murder people. He loved
and he was laughing.
He was just
laughing at it.
The people that were tied up.
Fucked up.
He was essentially like a serial killer, more or less, but he like funneled it into like fucking running the fucking city.
An interesting thing too is remember when he goes and talks to like the witch doctor guy? They kind of that one scene when he becomes Lil Z from little whatever his name was. That was interesting. I think they could have. Should have went into that a little bit more. That would have been fucking crazy if like they started. Because imagine that's probably a whole story too. Just fucking devil worshiping fucking people out in that town doing fucked up shit.
Yeah, that was scary.
They didn't really go. Yeah, that kind of just happened, and then it just moved on. That would have been an interesting little side piece.
I feel like that is probably something they decided to put in there because it's probably something that's common there, so they probably should have expanded on it just a little more.
Probably.
Well, it's based on
or just
story,
a thing,
right?
and people are just like, yeah, that's just what people do.
For sure, they do that shit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was wondering that, like, is essentially like this like Rocket's story, is that like a newspaper article or some shit, and they just like rewrote this into a movie, or is this like an original screenplay?
Yeah, I think it was a book.
If that's the case, that's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Maybe that was from like a story like that or something. But I liked that idea, that concept to it. It was sort of like the narrative, like a expose on the city a little bit, like how the movie was told, and we didn't really like realize that till the very end. So we saw like he got the job in the newspaper, started taking photos, had the fucking crazy photos, got a chance to like take photos of fucking Little Dice as he was dead, and or Little Z.
Dude, and, he was definitely getting laid for those.
I had a thought. Oh yeah, for sure. And I thought, I'm like, damn, like that's almost cold that he could just fucking do that. But then I thought, I'm like, you know what? No, fuck this guy. He killed his brother. So
bro, not only did he kill his brother, but he killed
everybody.
150 other people probably that didn't deserve it. You know what I mean? He killed over 100 people in his fucking life. That guy was killing everybody. Yep. So the dude who wrote the book, Paulo Lins, said he comes from a small town near Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and so he probably experienced all this shit and put it into a book. Like maybe he is Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he is Rocket, or he knows Rocket.
Yeah. Or he knew all those people, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really was about so many people.
Did you like the way it was shot?
I did.
I
thought it was amazing. And I think why I liked it so much is because the shooting lends itself to the authenticity of what you're watching. It just seems so real. That's why it was so devastating every time something fucked up would happen. I think because it was shot the way it's shot is why that is. Because that's like saying something for Slumdog Millionaire. Like, Slumdog Millionaire wouldn't be as good if it wasn't shot like it was. That really puts you into like a headspace when you watch those movies. Just the opening scene when he's got sharpening the fucking knife and then it goes to the close up of the chicken and then it rolls around. I was like, fuck, that grabs you, man. And like, yeah, I'm definitely all for the dolly shots and all classical filmmaking. I personally would make a movie like that, but this was done well. This is one of the 100 best movies I've ever seen for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I liked it too. I thought that is when I say it was chaotic, that was probably 90% of it was how it was shot. But I loved it. I thought it was crazy. I thought it was, I mean, it was all handheld all day. But I mean, it was the whips back and forth. It was just there was long scenes where the camera just whipped back and forth. There were scenes where the camera would go upside down and see the guy there was somebody talking to somebody else behind him. Camera would go upside down and see that person. It was insane. What else who was the DP?
It was like they did like a Matrix style shot. The DP, I don't know, but they did like that Matrix style shot where they like would like start on one side and like swoop around them. They would like almost like it almost like freeze frame, but the camera would move in a way. They did a couple of those when he was like in the alley with like when he was between the gang and the cops. Like, and I think it was kind of in the very beginning and like the very end. They did a couple of those like cool like like almost.
Well, I heard
like
the Wachowski brothers were
like,
on set for most of the shooting.
Maybe they directed the scene, the first / last scene.
So on IMDb it says there's a co-director of this movie, a woman named Kata Lund, and everything I've read, no one's ever mentioned her. I wonder why that is.
She got hit by a truck. She's dead.
Oh, damn.
Oh shit!
Rest in peace, Kata Lund.
She started directing. Maybe she just directed like a little bit.
Shalom was the DP. Constant Gardener, Blindness, The Pope's Toilet.
Both directed by Fernando Meirelles.
Constant Gardener is pretty good.
Yeah, that was Fernando Meirelles. That was this director's follow-up was Constant Gardener.
Oh yeah, he did the Two Popes.
Yeah, the Two Popes is his newest thing. That was pretty fun too.
Well made, it was good. I don't really remember Blindness. I feel like I saw that, but was it forgettable? I don't remember why I don't remember that. Or I don't know why I don't remember that. Blindness. Fernando Meirelles. Did you see that, Schwartz? Did you see Blindness?
I did. I remember seeing the trailer for it, and then I think it looked a little too melodramatic, so I didn't see it.
Yeah. Anthony, you probably didn't see it. I'm assuming.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, this motherfucker, I haven't seen shit. That's the podcast.
Who was your favorite character in City of God, not Blindness?
I would say, if not Rocket, Benny. Benny was a good character. Sad to see Benny go. Yeah, even though I think his death scene was probably my favorite scene, just because it was so like dramatic and chaotic, and there was just a lot going on in that one scene.
Talk about chaotic.
It was like happy. It was good. It was like you're almost happy. You were happy for Benny for a minute, but you knew it wasn't going to go well.
Nah.
Yeah, Benny was definitely like the coolest character, the one you could relate to because he was so chill. But I mean, this movie was all about the fucked upness.
Pissed.
Little Z's got to be the guy. Yeah, Little Z's got to be the guy though. Little Z's got the most interesting storyline. Yeah. Little Z was crazy.
I mean, Benny was right there with Little Z the
notable.
whole time.
Yeah. Their arc was kind of together, but then they started kind of breaking away, and then sort of separate arcs once they became big top guys. Yeah. Benny
wasn't a stone cold killer. Benny definitely killed people out of necessity because that's what he did, but he wasn't trying to kill people. Lil Z was trying to kill people.
Yeah,
he loved
Lil Z was wild. He's definitely like.
I mean, have you ever killed somebody?
The villain,
it's kind of fun.
Of the film. With the Lil Z / Lil Dice scene, I love it. One character I think is worth mentioning, even though she didn't get a lot of screen time, but I liked her like conversation she's had. She had was like I forgot her character's name,
Susan
but it
Sarandon.
was like Shaggy's girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
No, I
yeah.
wasn't playing
No,
with
she was
Susan
great.
Sarandon. It was like like yeah, like how they had that conversation about like hoods don't love, they desire, and like hoods never quit, they take breaks, shit like that. Like she had just like this interesting like look at things. I liked
Was she
I
the one
liked
that
those
got
scenes with her.
murdered? No.
And it was like
What was the one?
no
What was it?
no Shaggy got murdered. They were robbing the car, and then like she was
Oh
inside
yeah,
the
yeah,
car,
yeah,
and he was
yeah,
like
yeah.
pushing the car
She took
because the car they
control of the
robbed
car.
was shitty.
Yeah.
It needed a push start. Yeah, and then people started shooting at him and shit, and then he got killed, and then she at least got away. But that was a pretty good scene too.
PGC, dude.
Pretty good scene.
Scene.
PGS.
PG scene is what I meant to
Scene.
say. Shut up.
Oh, PG scene. My bad. My bad.
Is it date? No.
Yeah.
Whatever.
7:55 where I'm at.
I wish I could see those Christmas boats.
Send you a picture.
Is there anything you didn't like about this movie,
is gonna
Schwartz?
Pretty high on my list. Didn't like about this movie?
Yeah,
Not really. No.
What did you hate about this movie?
I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie. I guess if I had to choose something, you just saw a lot of things that were just really fucked up. Like a lot of the people's deaths were just totally unnecessary in every way. I mean, most deaths probably are, but I mean, it's just the product of people being fucking psychopaths and killing people for no reason, and it's kind of crazy to see. Like that's what I was thinking the whole time in this movie. It's like there's like you could be like being a woman probably growing up in a place like that. You're probably scared every day because somebody can just come and do whatever they want with you, and no one's gonna help you. You know what I mean? Like it's just a different type of world. That this movie was a different world. That's why I say I liked it so much, because it just put me in a place where I've never seen.
Where you could just
like
attack
that.
a woman.
With my eyes, you know. No, where you can live like that, where crime is that rampant, where you can pay off the cops and there's nothing that goes over that. And yeah, you can't attack a woman like that and get away with it and everything be honky dory. That's not how it works. I know you'd like it to be like that, but that's not how it works.
Wow. You just used the same joke on me. I'm rubber, you're glue. Where does it
What
rank
do you
on-
think, Anthony? Is there anything you didn't like about it? Any criticisms? Anything like that?
No. I wouldn't watch. I'm not gonna watch it again. It doesn't.
I can see that.
It doesn't seem
It's
like
rough.
a movie I need to see again. It's not like Beasts of No Nation
rough.
rough. It's not like $1 Million
But
Baby
it's close. So wait, you think $1 Million Baby? You think the scene in $1 Million Baby where she falls off the fucking thing and cracks her neck is?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert for $1 Million Baby.
This movie is much worse than $1 Million Baby in every way.
Hey, what happened?
What are you talking
Baby
about?
is
No
a
Nation.
fucking terrible film.
What are you talking about? I think that's
What
a
was
great movie.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood could suck my dang-a-lang.
Damn. What if he listens to this, Schwartz?
I hope he does, and I will say, Mr. Eastwood, listen, after we do this and I say that again, I'm going to call you and be like, yo, let's hang out.
Mr. Eastwood, if you're listening, you're more than welcome to school us on how to make movies and tell Schwartz he's a fucking asshole.
You know what he does?
You'll be welcome on any time,
This
Mr.
is what he
Eastwood.
does. He fucking comes in, and he's like, listen, I saw your movie, F-word, and you know what? We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think he would watch our movie. He would just fucking. He'd rather talk to a bar stool again, like a weirdo.
No, I thought this movie was pretty good. I don't need to see it again. It was long, but it didn't feel long because it kept my attention
I agree.
the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
The chaos and the movement and the storytelling was great. The way they kept going back and forth, it was intriguing the whole time. So it didn't feel like 2 hours and 15 minutes, whatever it is. But yeah, it was good. I don't know about the list. I don't know how high it's going on the list, but I liked it. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up if I was Siskel, R.I.P.
If you were Siskel or Ebert.
My favorite scene was the
Cool.
scene where he goes, where he's trying to rob everybody. I thought that was a good scene. He's just a nice guy. Because you think it's about to turn around in the movie. He's like working at the store, and he's like, you know what? Fucking honest work doesn't pay. It's time to fuck. And then he gets the gun, and he goes out, and you're like, all right, some shit's about to go down. And he's just like, nah, that guy was too cool. Nah, she was too cool.
Right. Gonna do it. He's a good guy. Good guy, that Rocket.
Great guy.
Great guy. Great
Rocket.
kisser.
Good.
Where's it go on your list, Schwartz?
Schwartz, where's it at? Spot.
I think I'm putting it at number 9.
Number 9.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Right in front of Inside Man, right behind Royal Tenenbaums.
Word.
Okay.
I was considering that spot as well.
This is one of those movies that we've watched. Like, it's up there with Handmaiden or Sisters or Pan's Labyrinth, or Blood Simple, where it's just expertly crafted. Like, it's just filmmaking at its highest. You know what I mean? It's just well done. So that's why.
Indeed.
Yep.
I agree.
All right, I got one. Where are you putting yours, Jake?
I'm actually gonna go higher. I'm gonna go number 6.
Ooh. In front of Jeff Who Lives at Home. Smart.
Right in front of Jeff Who
One
Lives
thing
at
I agree
Home.
with you on. It definitely is way better than that movie.
Yeah, that was kind of like a teetering point there. Once I broke the creep threshold with some movies lately, my top 10 list has been shaken up in the last few weeks.
Ooh. Shaken up.
Shaken up.
Shaken up.
Shaken bake.
It's been fun. It's been fun though. Shaking and baking in my
Proud of Rick Bobby Court.
Yeah, so it's going high. I love that movie. It's great. It's not quite as good as Back to the Future, but it's very similar in ways to Back to the Future, I think.
I mean, this could be the sequel to Back in the Future. Fucking Carrot was definitely Doc.
This
it could work.
This is like the Brazilian Back to the Future, but told but meets Pulp Fiction. It's like Back to the Future.
God, it's true.
Meets Pulp Fiction
in Brazil.
In Brazil. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's how we should describe this to people. Oh, it's the Brazilian Back to the Future.
It's basically like Pulp Fiction meets Back to the Future.
It's Back to the Future 4.
Do you speak Portuguese?
You love Robert Zemeckis movies. If you're a big Robert Zemeckis fan, you're gonna love this.
I don't think that's a fair assessment.
I think it's pretty perfect.
Someone
write it in there for me.
It was great at telling like stories at the same time, like they're parallel stories. It's just Robert Zemeckis, Fernando Meirelles, both geniuses.
Tarantino.
Anthony, what about your list?
My list, Anthony. Mine's going high relatively. And it's funny because it's we're all in twos here. You're 6. I mean 3s. I mean you're 6. Schwartz's is at 9, and mine's gonna be at 12.
That's a good rating.
Maybe that says something about numbers. Or not.
3.
Number 12. It's going
Almost
between.
6, 6,
it's
6.
going right below. Hail Satan. Right below Bound. Right above newly added Mank. Just beat out Mank.
Shout out to Fincher.
Shout out to Fincher. If you're listening, you can come on the podcast anytime. Schwartz thinks your movie was boring. He told us. He told us off air.
No,
a big fan.
They're liars.
Great movie.
Yeah. Liars.
I'm not gonna watch it again. I would watch Panic Room 4 times before. I would make it a 4-to-1 ratio of Panic Room to Mank.
You know what?
I could watch Panic Room twice.
I just remembered Panic Room. I think I would put Panic Room under Mank if we were ranking Fincher movies, because Panic Room was so forgettable to me. If we're gonna rank Fincher, I'm sorry. If we're gonna rank Fincher movies, third to the bottom instead of second to the bottom, which I
Third?
think I talked about yesterday.
Well, what was
Mank,
it?
because it would be Aliens 3,
Oh,
then Panic
Alien
Room,
3.
then Mank, and then hard to say after that, probably Gone Girl or something.
okay.
Fincher's a good guy, good maker of film.
On
I'd
our
rather
show,
watch
Dave
Panic Room
Fincher
than
proved
Mank.
these
tell you
guys
that
are
much.
wrong.
Yeah. Schwartz thinks you're boring.
Do I
Telling
think
me
Mank is a better
he's an
movie
idiot.
than Panic Room? Yes. Would I rather watch Panic Room than Mank? Yeah, to a 4-to-1 ratio.
That's fair. I mean, I guess I could see that. If I could only watch 2 movies and I was on a plane, but the plane ride was like as long as Panic Room, I would pick Panic Room.
You know,
It's a bad
if you
scenario.
have 2 hours and 10 minutes and you don't mind
Yeah.
being a little bummed out, watch City of God.
Yeah, over Mank.
Yes. Watch City of God. It's a great film. You got to see it before you die.
Yeah. Mank, not so much. But City of God, you should definitely see City of God.
Shout out to the big cat.
Yeah, do you think the big cat seen City of God?
No, but I hope he listens to this and watches it. And I hope he goes, meow.
Yeah.
Shout out to the big cat.
Shout out to the big cat.
Shout out to Davidson. I think he's sometimes watches
fuck
the shit.
Davidson.
Shout out
Thanks
to
for listening.
whatever. Yeah, you know who you are. Thanks for listening to another episode of Making Me Watch Movies. Next week's episode is a zinger. I'm not sure who hasn't seen this one, but we're watching The Goonies, 1985. Yeah, Richard Donner, available on HBOMAX. This is a classic. This is one everyone's seen. This is one everyone's gonna want to listen to. I'm pretty sure Jake hated it for some reason, or Schwartz hated. I don't know. One of them hated it. I loved it. The Goonies. Watch that if you haven't already. Then listen to us next week. Making Me Watch Movies. Follow us on Instagram, MMWM_podcast. Follow Jake on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Follow Schwartz on Instagram. You'll figure it out. You probably already do if you're listening to this. Take it easy, boys.